To be the best, you have to beat the best. That's true of any racing series. In a normal Gridlife Touring Cup weekend, there's one 20-minute long qualifying session. As many laps as you can run, and only the best will count. But not today. This isn't a normal GLTC race weekend. We've already run one of our 4 races, and we normally set the grid for the second race with the results of the first. But this time, each of the top 10 drivers will get one lap. Just one, with all the cameras, all the eyes, to run the fastest lap they can. That's how we're going to grid our second race later today, with a top 10 shootout and a chance to steal the pole from the drivers that finished ahead of them in the first race of the weekend. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined by Nick Sarter for the Gridlife Touring Cup Qualifying Shootout, the top 10 shootout here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course here on Gridlife Live. Nick, welcome back, and we're just about to do something brand new in GLTC. And I'm really excited.
Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, I'm really excited as well. It's to be a top 10 shootout straight from V8 Supercars. So it should be a lot of fun. It should be really, really exciting. I'm looking forward to see these guys put it all on the line, see where they can qualify for this next race.
So only the top 10 drivers from race 1 are eligible to participate in this. And how this is going to work is each driver from 10th to 1st, one after the other, will go out and run one warm-up lap and one flying lap. If you spin out, oh well. If you run fast, good. But you only get one chance, no makeups, no redos. One lap, then you qualify yourself into race number 2. The worst you can finish is 10th. So if you're a driver that's 7th, 8th, 9th in race 1 and you want to advance your position, now this is the chance. This is the pole for the taking. Go out there and get it. But for a guy like DJ Alexandrini, he won the race. He's probably comfortable with how fast his car is. He's probably not going to want to push that hard, and he might end up buried 5th, 6th, 7th in the order by the time we grid up for race 2 at 4:50 later today. So there's a lot of risk versus reward, and for a guy like Tom O'Gorman, this is the first event he's done in this brand new, well, I should say brand new to him, S2000. He's on some Falken tires here this weekend, and one of our partners here at Gridlife, and he's going to be he'll be the first driver out on track, finished 10th in race 1, and I kind of wish it was raining a little bit because I feel like he would have a really good chance. That car's a little overweight for the spec, but Tom's going to be a wild card. Woody Hyman we've seen be really fast all weekend, but our top 3, DJ Alexandrini, Eric Kutil, and Aaron Lichty. Any one of those drivers could get the pole for race 2. Any one of the other drivers could get the pole for race 2.
And even DJ, he started from 4th that last race, and right off the bat came up to first on the, into China Beach. So even if DJ doesn't qualify out front, he's still going to be a very, very strong contender in this next race.
Absolutely. And thanks again to our partners here at Gridlife. And Gridlife Live is sponsored by Falken Tires, the tires that are on Tom O'Gorman's number 94. Thanks also to FCP Euro for joining us, as well as 104 Performance and ST Suspension. So we've got some great partners here, Nick, but they allow us to be here, and something new for GLTC this weekend. And this has been a formula that has worked out very well on the racetrack, but the practice and qualifying has been pretty standard so far. You run a practice, you run a qualifying, you go out there. Usually race 2 is gridded just by the straight results from race 1. Race 3 is usually the fastest lap from race 2 is what qualifies you in. But we're kind of mixing things up, trying something different. And today it's all about, can you perform under the pressure? All by yourself, all the eyes on you. This is a big stage, and these drivers know that. And DJ is one of those guys that always gets excited about stuff like this. And he's going to go out there. He's going to show everybody what he can do, but he's going to go last. So he has the advantage of watching everyone else run their times. And he might have his live timing popped up just so he can see what he has to do.
And I think Eric's somebody to definitely watch here. Kutil was very, very fast in that second race, that last race, and he just could not get by DJ. DJ made his car very wide because he's such a fantastic driver, and could not get by. But I think his car does have the pace, and I think we might look to see him out front.
We'll go again over what track we're at here. We're in Lexington, Ohio, Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, 2.26 miles around here, 13 turns, an FAA Grade 2 circuit, opened in 1962. If you're familiar with the Ford versus Ferrari movie, you might have recognized the name Ken Miles. He was the first driver to have won here. So we have our first driver out on the racetrack. That is Tom O'Gorman, the number 94. He is a 4-time IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge race winner and TCA TCB champion in TC World Challenge America. So he'll head down into the keyhole here on a warm-up lap, Nick. So this will be the only warm-up lap that we get to enjoy in its full entirety, because basically when one driver's running their hot lap, the next will be warming up. So we get to watch Tom weave down the back straightaway, get these tires up to temp. I heard a discussion earlier that he kind of wanted to replace his rotors. It was noticing some things that he said, if I had fresh rotors, it would be better. But he doesn't, or at least I don't know if he got them on there in time, but he's got what he's got.
I think he got the hive mind opinion, and I think the hive mind said you should be fine.
Yeah. So he's rolling down through turn 5. Now you see the front tires begging for grip as he came up over the crest there down the hill. And Tom is a professional, and I think he knows what he's doing. He's got the Tomo blue on there. You see him walking around the paddock, he'll have those famous blue sunglasses on all the time.
Can't miss him.
Even on a cloudy day like this, I'm sure he's got them on. But
oh, he does.
I bet he does. Now through the area where they're going to disappear from our view into Thunder Valley, up the hill towards turn 13, and then it begins. The Gridlife Touring Cup Top 10 Shootout from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. The first ever attempt at this, and Tom O'Gorman's going to be the first one to see the racetrack under green conditions. One lap, 2.26 miles. We'll find out how he'll stack up for race number 2. Through turn 13. Get a run up to the start. Apex turn 12 and launch down onto the front straightaway. Ring through the gears. Tom O'Gorman takes the green flag in the first qualifying attempt of the day. Diving onto the brakes. The car leaning over right at the edge of the curb there. You don't necessarily want to jump that. It'll upset the car all the way out to track edge at the exit of turn 2. On the brakes into turn 2, now the keyhole. He's going to turn in a little bit late. Apex this late, pull it all the way down and drop down the hill. Get the power down the longest straightaway on this track, up through the gears. 2, 3, 4, all the way to the top of 4, maybe into 5th. Probably about 115, 120 miles an hour at the minimum before you head into the braking zone for turn 4, Nick. And that is where the speed is going to be had for a guy like Tom O'Gorman with the experience.
Absolutely.
Pop out of view here into the braking zone. Down 1, 2, maybe 3 shifts. Aim for the curb on the apex. He's going to stay a little bit away from it. And then right here, turn 5, keep it right tight up against the wall. We're up against the curb there on the apex.
Really see the car rolling over as he takes a set into the corner.
Yeah, right there. He came down 5, and you watch the car transition, and just slams down that left front tire. You're just coercing it to follow your orders, and you see him take the curb through turn 7 up the hill and now towards Thunder Valley. A good lap, good clean lap so far.
Very clean.
But we'll only know how fast it is once he comes across the line. The best lap in qualifying earlier this weekend was Aaron Lichty's 1:35.295. I'm not sure if the track's going to be that fast, but we'll see what Tom can pull off. His quickest lap of the weekend so far, I think, has been in the 1:37 range or 1:38 range for him. So we'll see how he does as he comes through the final corner here. A little bit of a bump over turn 12. Nice and tidy through 13 across the line. Tom O'Gorman, what time will he lay down in the top 10 shootout? It will be a 1:39.182. So Tom O'Gorman puts the first time down, and we'll have yet to see where that's going to stack up. That is not the fastest lap he's run this weekend, though.
No, and I expect, based on the conditions, for the track to be about a second or two slow. So I expect we'll see the top guys in the 136s, 137 range.
It looked really clean and tidy, though. And he drifted a little wide at the exit at 12, but I think he's trying to avoid there's a bump down there on the apex. But our second car, that's Scott Bowling's 722 Porsche Cayman. He's going to roll through turn 13 and fire up onto the front stretch. Here he comes, the silver bullet down the front straight into turn 1. This car is a totally different philosophy of how to go fast.
Oh, very different.
Into turn 1. Nice and tidy. He's going to roll out all the way to the exit curb. And this car looked unstable in the wet earlier, but in the dry, it's going to be a rocket ship down the straightaways. And into the braking zone for turn 2, the keyhole. Up the hill, then the track falls away on exit. Wide entry, tuck it in tight on apex.
You can really see how totally different those two cars are, where you see Tom's car really rolling and diving under braking, and that car just stays flat, flat, flat.
Now down the long back straightaway, that car is going to get to stretch its legs a little bit. This is where this Porsche belongs, at the high-speed straightaways at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Into the braking zone for turn 4. And again, this is where the speed can be found through this section, because you have to stay so tidy. A little bit wide there on the entry to 4. I'm not seeing a lot of people take curb there. I'm not sure if there might be some weepers or water still left on the apex, but it seems like they're staying away from it.
And it's quite a large curb, too, that can really upset the car.
Yeah, so he stays, again, you're staying tight at the exit of 5 because you don't want to use all that racetrack because you have to set up for 6. Now through the S's over the crest and into Thunder Valley, he'll disappear. And Scott Bowling earlier this weekend, he qualified 8th with a 1:37.348 for race number 1. So if he does that again, he'll be faster than Tom O'Gorman.
Up out of Thunder Valley now, taking that left-hander up over the crest, that long open sweeper.
Oh, a little bit early apex there, tracks out all the way to the yellow. Into the braking zone for the carousel. Such an awkward entry to get this car rotated in. Nice and tidy. Over the bumps, throttle back up to the front straightaway. Where will Scott Bowling line up in relation to professional Tom O'Gorman across the line? What will it be? How about a 37.9? That's 1.1 seconds faster than Tom O'Gorman. So Bowling, a great run there. That's a pretty quick lap, so he'll be in good shape, I think. And our next car on the racetrack is going to be Ryan Kristoff in the 46. This is a beautiful CRX was joking with him yesterday that the clamps that hold all the body panels on look like they came off an LMP1 car. He's told me he wasn't going to brake for turn 1. Let's see if he pulls that off into turn 1. Going to carry all the speed he can using the downforce in that car through turn 1, leaning over.
I didn't see that front end dive. That very well may have been a no-brake turn 1.
I didn't see any brake lights either. Through turn 1. Now up the straightaways. And this car has had extensive racing miles put on it, and it is still a really solid race car. Kristoff's a great driver as well. And very tidy so far. Haven't seen a lot of mistakes. You see that car squat on exit. It just squirts out of the corner like nothing else. It just squats down and goes. Now up through the gears. Towards turn 4 now, and staying real tight to the right. Turn 3 is that kink there in the middle of the straightaway. And again, carrying probably about 120, 130 miles an hour into the braking zone.
Yeah, hard on the brakes down into China Beach there.
Nice, tidy line through 4. Beautiful apex there. A little bit of a wide entry into 5. Going to tuck it tight. Look how much racetrack he leaves on exit. He's going to set up great for 6 here.
Fantastic. Yeah, he's going to get on the brakes early, turn in early. That's really an open corner. That's really deceiving if you don't get it right.
And so he did the same thing at the exit of 6 into 7. And now over the crest into 8 and 9. And head for Thunder Valley. Or see Scott Bowling just finishing up his cool-down lap. And Kristoff's going to come thundering through Thunder Valley. And he just put a new livery on that car. It's
beautiful.
It's a Bill Elliott-inspired paint scheme, which I think is really neat. And through Thunder Valley, the crest through turn 11 into 12 in the carousel.
Up over the crest into the carousel. See if he misses that bump. Nope, he's going to hit that bump.
Right on the apex. And you know what? He actually had the right sides up on the curb there, which might have helped him gain some speed through their final corner across the line. Where will Kristoff stand in relation to Bowling and Carmen? Quicker, 137.5 by 4.5 tenths. Ryan Kristoff's your fastest driver in the top 10 shootout so far. Next driver on the racetrack, Woody Hyman's 802, won the practice race earlier was it this morning? It was this morning,
yeah. It seems like time flies with all there's so much going on here.
Oh, look at this car. And this is Rob Manichari's old race car. You mentioned this is a really well-prepped car through turn 1 all the way out to the yellow. And this car is going to be a rocket ship in a straight line. It's all about focusing, turning this very technical track into a point-and-shoot track for this car.
And if it rains later this afternoon, which it looks like it may, he's definitely going to be a driver to watch. With starting in the top 10, I expect him to see him at the top.
Again, he has not ever finished outside of the top 10 in any Gridlife Touring Cup race, so he's got the results to back it up, and he's been performing this weekend so far. Up through the gears for him towards the turn 4 braking zone. And when he gets here, this is the part of this racetrack where this car probably won't be as good as some of the K-Miatas we're going to see later in this field. So he's got to just balance it carefully and not understeer, because what a lot of drivers will do is they'll make a mistake and they'll try to make up for it, and you're just going to keep compiling mistakes. Once a lap's over, it's over. So you're not going to make it any better. So what Hyman's doing so far, it's very tidy and clean.
Very
he
tidy.
hasn't made a mistake yet.
And once you overheat those tires, it's just so difficult to bring them back.
Now off into the blind spot here before he heads into Thunder Valley. Another spot in this racetrack where that car will excel. Over the hills and valleys, the sweeping corners. And here he comes up through turn 11 and 12 and head for the carousel, the final corner. And again, very neat and tidy. Haven't seen a single mistake. That car has been placed very elegantly through the majority lap. Big bump in turn 12 for him, now 13. And across the line, where will Hyman stand up in the field? Will he go quickest? And he will be third quick, a 138.669. So
that car, that lap did look very tidy from him. I'm kind of disappointed to see that.
It looks tidy, but I think that the danger is that it's too tidy.
Yeah.
Right. You have to push if you want to grab pole. But here's a guy that's going to push. Here's Pervez Randalia, and this is a driver that's got an FRS with an FRS motor. Justin Kelly's got an S2000 motor. This is a unopened FA20 motor.
That's a really incredible amount of power that motor makes, and how well he's able to wrangle that car around the track.
This might be one of the fastest unopened motor FRSs in the country.
I think it has to be.
It's really, really fast. It's got full bolt-ons on this car, and he's a heck of a driver. He's been improving every single round through turn number 2, now down the hill. You can really see the car head down and at the corner exit. This car is not super torquey.
It's not.
You're using all the high end here on the straightaway, so you're going to rev this thing all the way out to probably around 8K.
Through the kink, and that's turn 3 there, down towards the braking zone in China Beach.
Into the braking zone. Again, this car has some of the best handling characteristics of any car on the market right now. The chassis so well balanced, some of the best steering you can get. Big slide through turn 4 there, though. Couldn't get the car to stay on the line. And through 5, little bit of a wiggle on exit, so a little unstable through that section there. I wonder if it hurt him at all, but he's going to have to tidy it back up.
That's a little late on the brakes and didn't turn in early enough for that corner there.
Yeah, the first sector went really well. The middle I don't think was amazing, but he'll have to make it up in this final sector. But again, this last section into the carousel, this car's so balanced that I feel like he'll have a really easy time getting the car coaxed into turn 12 and 13. So he comes up the hill here through Thunder Valley. And again, the fast sweeping corners are great for this car. And now into the tight stuff. It's a pretty nimble car, too, and here he comes.
And I think we're going to see him sit right in between Hyman and O'Gorman. We'll see when he comes across the line here into 13.
Whoa, big slide. Wow, hung that car out across the line. Pervez Randalia, where will he line up? Provisional pole, 136.8 for Pervez Randalia. He managed to grab all of it and a little bit more. By 0.7 of a second, he beats Ryan Kristoff.
I'm just going to eat my words right there.
Me too. I mean, that lap kind of looked like a mess, but it was fast.
Even that big old slide coming out.
That was awesome. That was so fun. This is what's so cool about this. Here comes Rob Manichari. Woody Hyman. That was his old car, but Manichari's now in a winning Formula MX-5, and across the line, he'll start his flying lap. He just changed his livery over from a lime green to a hot pink.
Still can't miss it.
It's still fast. Through turn 1. Look at the speed that those cars carry through that first corner. So light on their feet, and so much power for these tiny little cars.
Manichari checking his brakes, make sure he's got brake pressure before that hard braking zone into the keyhole.
Nice wide entry, going to tuck it down to the apex here. Very tight. A little bit
of curb.
A little bit of curb there, which I'm a little surprised to see. Ooh, wide on exit, drops a wheel on corner exit, kicks up some dust.
The beauty there is you can use that exit, and it's really not a big deal. It doesn't slow you down all that much.
Now down the straightaway. Heading for the braking zone. Again, these cars do not have ABS. So you're balancing your threshold braking, and you can't rely on that assist to help you out.
No, you can't.
It might not be as strong on the brakes as some of the other cars we've seen. Pervez Randalia does have ABS, so that's one of the advantages his car is going to have. Manichari down the hill, nice and tidy through 4, 5, and 6. Well balanced. A little bit of understeer on exit there. Tracked out a little bit wider than I would have expected. Now up over the crest into 9.
Using all of that curb into Thunder Valley.
And when he pops out, again, Randalia, a 36.8 is not a slow lap.
Not at all.
I think we're going to see faster, but I'm curious to see where Manichari is going to stack up in relation, because Manichari is very close to Randalia in terms of pace on any given day. But here he comes into the carousel now, going to balance that car elegantly on entry, tuck it down. Little bit middle of the road there, going to hop the bump through 13 across the line. Where will Rob Manichari stack up in the top 10 pace shootout? Across the line for Manichari. He will go third quick, a 137.591. Again, maybe a little bit conservative.
Yeah, maybe he's very well maybe just biding his time and making sure he gets a solid spot and not, over push the car.
Next car across the line, Emile Tab in the 14. Brand new K-swap in this car. Last year did not have that. This year has it. And he went from a top 10 car to a top 5 car. I think he'll be fast. Look at, again, the same speed. These cars built to a very similar degree. There are some differences, but they're pretty much the same idea. And I think there are going to be a lot of the same characteristics here as well.
Nose drops and a braking up into the keyhole.
I wonder if that front air dam, that front fascia, it's kind of splayed out on the bottom. Is that causing extra drag, you think? Is that a disadvantage, or is it going to help him?
If anything, it helps cover the front tires and make sure that air goes around the front tires and doesn't hit the front tires and cause more drag.
Yeah, it certainly looks good, though. Down the LED headlights are kind of neat looking, too. Down into turn 4. Hunting for the brake pedal, get down a couple of gears, and use the Miata in the Miata ways, the tight and twisties. He's got his teammate up ahead of him that's still on a cooldown lap. He's going to have to pick it up to not influence Emile's time here.
Using a little bit of curb in madness.
A little bit sideways at the exit of 5, but again, that's controlled.
Yep.
So that won't cost him any time. Now through the S's portion, over the crest, and disappear out of view for a moment. And that turn 9 is such a critical corner too, because the way you exit that corner determines really the entire final sector.
Yeah, that it's really we talk about there being long straights on this track. That's really another one of those long straights because you have so much time between the entrance to the valley and coming out into the carousel.
Emile Tab through turn 11 into turn 12, the carousel. Here he comes. Big slide. Oh, big messy bump through the final corners for Emile Tab. He's going to get it gathered up, though, across the line. Where will the K Miata 14 go? And that will go P4, 137.777. So about a tenth off of his teammate, Rob Manichari. I think that last corner, he clipped the curb and jumped the bump a little bit wrong, and that kind of set the car sideways. and that might have cost him a couple tenths there. But Emile Tab P4. So Pervez Randalia with his whopper of a lap, a 1:36.8, still the time to beat right now as we wait for our next car on track. But Randalia, I can't believe that Speedy. I wonder if there was a couple people that made mistakes going into turn 9 that we didn't see.
I bet.
That Pervez nailed. But here comes Aaron Lichty. Now this car was the third-place finisher in race number 1 as he comes across the line, winningest driver in GLTC race history as he goes down into turn number 1. This is the car that everyone's got to look on a weekly basis. This is the car that you're going to have to beat if you want to win.
And this is the car that all these other cars are based off of. I mean, he's the owner of the winning formula and has really created these cars, these K Miatas. He's taken the K Miata swap and built a wonderful, wonderful race car around him.
And Aaron, he goes so fast, and it looks like he's just going for a Sunday drive. He's so smooth, and it's a lot of experience as well with this car. I've heard he's had this car forever. This is a really old race car, but of course it's been refreshed, and it has
been through many iterations.
Yeah. Now look at the speed. This thing is a rocket ship on the straightaways. Behind the Armco, now down into turn 4. And again, you're trying to utilize your car's advantages in the places where you can utilize them properly. Into 4, nice and tidy. So smooth. A lot of rollover. I think he's going to run in a pretty soft setup.
It does look like he's running a pretty soft setup. I wonder if that's because it's supposed to rain, you know.
But I like that. You're right, because it might rain, and I also like the soft setup here because there's so many transient maneuvers. You're going right to left and back and forth, and to let the car grip on those outside tires is going to help this car as he comes through the S's and into Thunder Valley here. So here he comes in just a moment, and Aaron Lichty, with how many race wins he's had, I don't care where he qualifies, he's going to be a factor, but I would expect him, if he doesn't beat Pervez Randalia, that's going to be shocking to me because Pervez Randalia is really good, but Aaron Lichty is also really good, and that car is super good. So here he comes, final corner, so well executed that last sector. Across the line for Aaron Lichty, where will he stack up? Will it be pole? At the top by 0.7 of a second, still 1:36.1. What a lap.
That's a heck of a gap there that he's pulled.
It's just so fascinating to watch Pervez Randalia run the lap that he did. That car was sliding everywhere, and then Aaron Lichty goes out there and runs the smoothest thing you've ever seen and runs 0.7 faster.
Which just goes to show the variety that we have in GLTC.
Absolutely.
The car variety, the driver variety, and they're all end up being, you know, right around the same time.
And we've seen clean laps that were slow.
Absolutely.
So I think you have to. It's really how the driver drives. And here comes Eric Kutil, another driver that is known for being really aggressive out there on the racetrack, respectfully aggressive. He'll give you space, but it's just enough. And he's going to go down into turn 1, lean over on those right sides. A beautiful EG Civic SI from 1992, and launch his car. This is also a recent K-swap. Was on his B18 for the longest time, and last year decided to take the plunge and go full K-swap on it. And into the braking zone. Another car that does not have ABS. And DJ Alexandrini is the last car out, and he will have ABS. So it's going to be interesting to see how he'll stack up, especially after being one of the fastest cars all weekend.
And something interesting to note is that out of all the 10 cars in the top 10 shootout, this is only one of 3 cars that are front-wheel drive. Everything else is rear-wheel drive.
Yeah, and Eric Kutil, he's built this car so well to handle way better than a front-wheel drive car could or should. But look at how tidy this is. Again, just absolute perfection. You couldn't tell. It looks like it's on rails right now. It's got the right balance of the shocks, the brakes, the downforce on this car.
And it's beautiful.
And it's absolutely beautiful. One of the best-looking cars out there. Under the Honda bridge, up the hill, over the crest. This lap is going to look like nothing special, but I bet you it will.
I bet you it's fast.
I bet you it's very fast. And I'm just amazed at the skill level of these drivers. How many mistakes do we see? 3? 2?
Yeah, 3, maybe 4.
I mean, it's amazing to me how well these guys, and these guys are pushing, and we know that. Some of them are pushing, some of them are taking a little easier. But Eric Kutil through turn number 11 and into 12, into the carousel. And going to get this car tucked down to the apex here, home track. Eric from Columbus, Ohio, over the bumps, and it doesn't even look like it hit him. It's just so smooth over it across the line. Where will Eric Kutil be? Will he be in front of his nemesis, Aaron Lichty, across the line? He will. Pole for the 82 of Eric Kutil, 1:36.022 for the 82 car. Now, there's one driver left. Will it stand?
That's a good question. I don't know. DJ is obviously a very, very solid driver as he comes across down the front straight across the line.
This car, he's worked on this hard, and he's put a lot of love and attention into this car. Replaced his rotors this weekend, replaced a hub that was about to fail, ran really well this morning, won the race, his first ever GLTC race. He is on a high right now when it comes to GLTC action. Great turn 1 there, kept a lot of speed rolling. Now ABS, this is where he's going to be faster, is in the braking zones. Hard on the brakes, get the car tucked in, let the systems do the work for you, then accelerate out on the curb there. And we're going to see him big time on the curb in turn 4. This car will be two-wheeling it if he does what he did yesterday. on the straightaways. Again, this car is going to be pretty quick in a straight line. I know it kept up with Luke McGrew's car yesterday,
yes.
and Luke's car was
very fast.
Was very fast. All right, into turn 4. On the brakes hard, down a couple gears, aim for the turn 4 apex. He's going to stay off the curb this time. He's again, maybe trying not to break hubs.
Yeah.
Through turn 5, over the crest, the front-wheel drive is going to grip down here, and right out to the edge of the racetrack. Tuck it in for turn 6, and now the run up the hill. Again, very tidy. And DJ, when DJ's thrashing, you can tell that he's thrashing, but this is almost
smooth, calculated.
It's almost unexpected for DJ because I wouldn't call him smooth and calculated. He's aggressive, and I think this is something different for him, and I think it's going to work out as he comes through Thunder Valley up through turn 11 now, right against. Oh, that was a bit of a curb hop. He just jumped the end of the curb. And now into turn 12. Might be this car struggles a little bit higher center of gravity than Kutil's, but fast over the bump through turn 13, going to track all the way out to the edge across the line. Who will have pole for race number 2? Will it be DJ Alessandrini?
It will be DJ Alessandrini.
It will be a
135.
669 by 4/10.
Wow.
DJ Alessandrini comes across the line. He snags pole for race 2 of the day.
What a heck of a drive.
What a drive. And I told you, again, this is something different from DJ. Smooth and calculated. He's so aggressive. He jumps curbs. He slides the car around because that's where he's comfortable.
Yeah.
I feel like running smoothly isn't where his comfort zone is, but that was fast.
That was very fast. And yeah, you're right. I haven't seen him be smooth and calculated at all, and for him to do that, and then still, by 3/10 jump to the pole.
That was
fantastic.
Amazing. And I'm so excited for what we've got coming up this afternoon, because what we just saw was 10 drivers putting everything they have. I think Pervez Randalia, he gets an award for making it look cool. And he ended up, where did he end up on the time?
Fourth,
which is a great qualifying effort. He finished 6th in the race earlier today. Starting row 2, on the outside, but remember, our first turn is going to be turn 4. So your second corner is a left-hander. You can sneak up the inside of 5, be P3, P2, P1.
You absolutely can. Yeah, that's a great place to set up a pass, and an unexpected pass. If you can catch the driver in front of you, out, you can really put yourself in a position to take that.
DJ Alessandrini, from the sim to the real world. He is a competitor in the Gridlife iRacers series that we did in the spring, and has always been successful at those sim racing applications, but he comes to the real racetrack and he puts on a show, and he's so quick to learn and
eager to learn.
And he puts it out on the racetrack and he just does his thing, and he's got a lot of natural talent and ability, and this is something different. This is exciting to me because we've seen GLTC for over a year now. The 2 drivers you're always watching is Aaron Lichty and Eric Kutil. Those are the 2 drivers you have to beat. Throw a third head in that ring. DJ's the one to beat today.